Welcome everybody to the Brother Speak podcast. This is Brother Speak. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Oh boy, this Pearly thing has caused a lot of just crazy shit going on. We saw grown men get sunned like they were children by Miss Yanni. Yeah, like begging and pleading and snitching on each other like they were little boys. I'm like, it was amazing. But we're not here to talk about that. There's other people who talked about that and they've done a great job. I might get into that later, maybe later on this week. I am off from my job, a little mini vacation, so I'm going to be doing some things. But today, I wanted to get away from the manosphere, just Pearly, all that stuff. I wanted to talk about something that was very interesting to me, and I saw that this happened. Probably some people don't know. I am a wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan since I was a child. Started with the WWF when I was a kid, watching Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Big Boss Man. Then as we get into the Attitude Era, watching Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Undertaker, and even WCW with Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page, and as they grow now, as you know, the product got changed when Rock left, Stone Cold left, and WCW was bought out by WWE. The interest kind of waned because you didn't have two products; it was just WWE, and the quality wasn't where it should be. And I haven't been watching WWE as much as I used to. Probably off and on. There's a match that people talked about. I'll go look at that. Um, so I really didn't really watch wrestling like that. Well, I did listen to podcasts. One of my favorite ones is the Jim Cornette Experience. Listen to him, very knowledgeable about wrestling, and you know, and he gives his opinion no matter what. So you know, so I was listening to him and talk about this interview that Vince McMahon did with the owner of Endeavor. Now, for people who don't know, Vince McMahon is the owner of the WWE. Well, he was the owner of the WWE. He just sold the WWE for $9.3 billion. Let me repeat that: $9.3 billion with that B. And it's very amazing because just last year, Vince was ran out the company because he got caught up in a Me Too case. He was buying off some women after he was, playing around. And so they ran him off. Triple H took over. Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon came back. They took over, was running it. And then like maybe a couple months ago, Vince came back. He talking about, well, we're gonna sell the company. And there was a lot of uncertainty with that. Who he gonna sell it to? Is he gonna sell it to the Saudi Arabian? Because that was the big thing. Oh, he gonna sell it to the Saudi Arabians. But here comes Endeavor, who is now the owner of the UFC and other sports teams. So they get into the deal. Boom. Vince Vince is now he's the executive director of WWE instead of being the CDO and the owner. And it was very interesting how this man was disgraced a year ago. He was ran out here. We were like, Vince McMahon done. He ain't coming back. To now, not only did he get 9.3 billion with a B, he also get to run WWE, which he was doing before he left. And what's even more amazing that if they try to get rid of him, they gotta pay him unless they have a good reason to get rid of him. Or if he decides to leave with a good reason, aka his health, he gets paid. I think a couple, $3-4 million. I mean, just the fact that from a year ago, he was ran out. We thought he wasn't coming back. I mean, we knew he might come back, but come back like this. And it was an amazing story that I looked at it and I was fascinated by it. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to review the interview that Vince McMahon has. I'm trying to expand my content because listen, this manosphere, black men doing crazy shit, it's getting depressing. Especially you talking about Pearl and all that, it's just getting depressing. So I want to expand my horizons a little bit. So we're gonna get into this interview. And later on tonight, we're going to talk about something that a lot of black men need to hear about, or black couples, but especially black men. You're talking about you want to raise family and you want to have final say in what goes on in your family, how your children being taken care of. I got a story for you that's going to blow your mind for that. But before we're going to do that, I wasn't going to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to do it tonight. But before all that, let's get into Vince McMahon and the owner of Endeavor, the interview, and we're going to get into that. So let's get to it. And fair use, everybody. Fair use. Let's get into this.
This entire process, and now you're the last person standing. Why the WWE?
He decided not to body slam me. But, we've brought together in a pure play UFC and the WWE into a new publicly traded company. It's very rare to get iconic brands like the UFC and the WWE together. Individually, they're incredible assets. Together with the flywheel of Endeavor, which we've built, I think makes them unicorns.
Let me say it another way.
Go.
This is the biggest thing Ari Emanuel and Vince McMahon have ever done.
Yeah.
Combining forces like this there's nothing like this. There's never been anything like this. People have been talking about this for a long time.
There were a lot of other suitors.
Sure they
here.
were, but Ari really, the synergies, everyone was very interested in this, and I appreciate that. But the synergies that Ari brings, totally different than everyone else.
So the Saudis were said to be interested.
Sure.
Liberty said
Yes.
to be interested, and others.
Yes.
And you had your pick.
Yes.
And Endeavor ends
here
up
he is.
the place.
Right.
Well,
And yeah, like because that was the main one that was the first rumor that went around that they they was the Saudis were going to buy it. Matter of fact, that was the first rumor that, oh, Vince McMahon sold it to the Saudi Arabian people, and everybody was freaking out, and we was like, damn, that's what he sold it to. That's gonna suck for the women. You know how they are. You know, part of because just recently they started going over there, but when they go over there, they can't dress like they usually do. You know, tight pants and crop tops. They have to be more conservative because it's Saudi Arabia. You know how they with women getting covered up, and even when they first started going there, the women wasn't going. They didn't go over there because of that rule, and they started like easing up, letting the women go, but they had to be covered up. They can't be, dressed how they usually dress. So they thought it was that, and then they were talking about, well, what about Stephanie? Because, Stephanie is, she's a woman in a leadership position, and you know how the Saudis ain't really down for women leadership like that. And especially just before that, Stephanie left. She like, I'm done. I'm out. Vince came back. Stephanie left. and the people who was kind of told Vince to leave, uh, either they resigned or they were finding new means of employment. So it was one of those things like, so people thought this was what was going on. And then this guy came into Ari Emanuel, and you'll find out that they known each other for a long time. So this ain't something like, it may be new to us. I know this is, I never even heard of this company. And I didn't even know he bought the UFC, which is another crazy thing, is that they're one of the WWE's biggest biggest competitors was the UFC. So now they under the same company. So what does that mean for WWE, UFC? Are they going to be having more crossovers? Or are they going to still keep as separate as they usually do? I just found it very interesting. Let's get into it.
The fun thing, we've known each other for 23 years. When I was a young agent, said, why don't you represent us? It was an honor then. Throughout the pandemic, we got even closer. We've sold the media rights. There's a lot of trust here. But I think we built a flywheel that Vince realized the value, and what we did with UFC, he could see what we could do with his assets. And I'll just give him a little credit right here. He saw cable when nobody saw cable, and he built a national brand way back in the day when there were about 15 different promoters out there.
Which he allowed them. He ran out of business. Took all their top stars and ran out of business. Ran them out of business. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Vince was a beast. I mean, he came in, took over from his father. I think his father sold it to him. Yeah. And basically ran all these other guys out of business. Took a lot of their top stars and ran them all out of business. Yeah, Vince was hated. And so you can see the connection here. It's like, so they've been knowing each other for 23 years. I mean, Vince gave him start in the business, and now it's paying dividends. And this is something like black men would need to understand. Look, it's okay to give people starts in the business because then it comes back and give you benefits. Like I remember this inmate was yelling and screaming, "I'm doing all this for these people, and I'm doing this." I'm like, but dude, um, you got to do stuff for people in this world. But see, what you don't do is don't do nothing, don't do anything expecting payment. Or if you're going to do that, let them know up front. But it's more or less you do it because at least in your mind, hey, this could benefit me in the future, as opposed to this could benefit me in the future, as opposed to, oh, I need something right now, something like that, you know. And Vince did that for this guy, gave him a chance, and this guy built his company, bought the UFC, and now he came back and gave Vince McMahon a 9.3 billion, like I say it again, $1 billion payday. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's an investment is paying big dividends. Let's continue.
He built an in-house sales force to sell the product that nobody had, pay-per-view, took it public, and last but not least, I think 5-6 years ago, he went direct to consumer when none of us were thinking about direct to consumer. So us being in business with Vince, and now you're sitting there with the guy who's seen around the corner better than anybody in our space, and him being able to play with our flywheel, just look out.
That said, many doubted we would ever see this day, that you would ever be willing to sell a controlling stake in your company.
Right.
You are the WWE, and the WWE is you. So why?
It's the right time. It's the right time to do the right thing. And it's the next evolution of WWE. I could probably do what Ari is right now with UFC. It'd take me 10 years. The time I would grab those 10 years, it'd be 10 years ahead again. So it's like, it makes all the sense in the world for all these synergies that we have to extract all of the value we can out of the marketplace.
I can't help but wonder, and I have to ask you, had the
Yeah, before I get into this, I want just to show y'all something right quick. Now, this is what Vince McMahon looked like probably about a year ago, like this. And now, and this is how he looked like now. So now I don't know if he got Botox done. I don't know. Maybe he has some. It could be some health issues. Hey, Tampa Supreme, how's it going, man? Ah, thank you. I much appreciate it. I'm trying to do what I can, man. And it's I gotta get away from some of that whole Pearly, Manosphere drama, man. It's getting ridiculous. You know, trying to expand my stuff. You know, so. But yeah, I'm like looking at like Vince was like, I don't know if he got Botox done, but I did also notice, and it was brought up on Jim Cornette's um, podcast. He was talking about Vince, how he's talking, and it's like he's talking kind of like he's out of breath now, and which I think that might be part of the reason why he did sell is because of his health. I mean, he's 77, and he's talking kind of like out of breath. He could be like he could have congestive heart failure because when you swell out like that, that's fluid. And with congestive heart failure, one of the things you collect a lot of fluid around, especially around your heart. That's why you have to be on fluid pills to get that fluid off of you. And I know that because my ex-wife, she has congestive heart failure. My father had it, and my mother had it. And that's the biggest thing is fluid. And uh, and considering like his work schedule that he had and traveling up and down the road, um, it was I can about imagine it works on your heart. So that could be it. And I remember Vince Jim Cornette talking about he yelled a lot and that messing with your vocal cords. It could be messing with your chest. So it could be a bunch of reasons for that. Or, just he's just an older man. You never know. I just thought that was how he's talking as opposed to how he used to talk. It's a little different.
The scandal not happened,
Right.
would we be sitting here today?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because it makes sense. You take nothing's ever happened like this before. And again, I'm always looking what's best for our stockholders, what's best for the company. This is the best thing that's happened in a long, long time. All of the WrestleManias combined have been 39, including tomorrow. Um, does it really equal to the magnitude of what we will do together?
Did that event push you towards this day faster than you thought you'd ever be here?
No, it didn't really, in and of itself, no. But it's great that we can combine all of this news together at the same time.
Yeah, I still think it's more of a. I think that was like the scandal was part of it, but I also think it was more or less his health. I mean, let's face it. Like I said, 77. You know, and and here's another thing. He gets a big payday. Think about this: $9.3 billion with a B. The man's a billionaire over again. So you gotta look at that realistically. So real quick. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Somebody sent me a message. My bad. But yeah, what was I? Let me just keep going. I forgot what I was thinking.
You know, I was talking to him when we didn't go public the first time. He and I started talking about we should be combined, right? I've been in business with him actually for 23 years, seeing what he's done. Like I was in business with UFC for a long, long time. And so I always thought about this combination, especially with the Endeavor flywheel, that we could add on to it and what that could become. And putting it into a new company as a pure play, there's nothing like it out there. And then I also think it shines, he gets value, which I don't think is captured presently in the WWE. We don't get, I don't think we got pure value for the UFC combined. I think the market will understand it. And I do also think for the Endeavor shareholders, they'll have a different perspective on Endeavor and the remaining assets.
Is this a good day for Vince McMahon and the WWE, or is it a
great day?
Is it a tough day as well? This company's been in your family for 70 years. Mm-hmm. Is it a tough day?
No, it's a great day. You know, things have to evolve. Family, business, it all has to evolve for all the right reasons. And this is the right business decision. Thus far, it's the right family decision.
What I thought was interesting, Ari, is that Vince is going to be the executive chairman of the new company.
Right.
That implies that he is going to have a say.
Well, I would have said the following. I would have body slammed him if he thought he was going to leave. Because as I said to you before, here's a man who has seen around the corners at every beat over the last 40 years of this business and has a vision for where this business, way before a lot of people see it. Him now being able to utilize what we have built in our flywheel, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, because I got Vince McMahon, a visionary that sees around corners. I got Dana White and what we've built. That's pretty unstoppable.
So you wanted him to stay?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
Did he have to convince you to stay?
Not that much.
Would you have been content?
I love what I do. I've loved building WWE all my life.
Yeah, like he really need to convince him to keep getting paid to do what he was doing anyway. Like, literally, again, he got $9.3 billion to stay in the same position he was before he left due to this scandal. Yeah, I get to keep doing what I've been doing, still get paid to do what I've been doing, and got a $9.3 billion on top of it. Oh yeah. Man, sure don't want to leave that. That's like uh let's say you are a greeter at Walmart. You're a greeter at Walmart, right? Okay, sorry. Reading something somebody else sent me an email. Now let's just say you were a greeter at Walmart. Okay. Somebody come to you like, hey, we're gonna pay you $1 million to still stay a greeter at Walmart. So you're doing the same job, but you just got $1 million to keep doing it. And still getting paid. And as you see later, there's some other benefits to this.
It's my passion. And to have an opportunity to have it grow like this, an exponential standpoint, is like, can't beat better than that.
It's an interesting plot twist. because
Of course it is.
not a lot of people saw this coming. In fact, your own CEO, Nick Khan, told our David Faber just back in February, quote, Vince has declared to the board, to me, to other upper management, he is 100% open to a transaction where he's not included in the company moving forward.
Sure,
You were ready to walk away?
absolutely.
I wasn't going to let him. And let me see, we have a relationship for 23 years. There's a trust, there's a friendship. When you're going into business and going forward, I think that's important. I'm glad he chose us because it was a very competitive situation. But for us, it's an honor. And also, we're so lucky because of his vision about where the business is and where it's going.
The deal values UFC. You mentioned some numbers, $12 billion and WWE at $9.3 billion. That's a big number.
Well,
The WWE's market cap is 6.5.
here's what I would say to you. Exactly why we did this, because I think we weren't getting the pure value. I don't think the WWE was getting the pure value. Combined, it's
And that is crazy that their market value was at he said 6.4 billion. He paid 9.3. So Vince got 3.5 million more. Actually, Vince was looking for 9 billion. He got 9.3. When the market was set it at $6.4 billion. Again, with a B, and with an M, with a B.
rarefied air, the two of us. And I think the analysts will be able to do it. It's good for the shareholders of WWE and for the shareholders of Endeavor. And then when you look back, I don't believe that the Endeavor shareholders were getting pure play for the rest of the asset that we had. And I think for the first time, you now have the ability to do that in both situations. And that's a win-win, which is what Vince and I have always talked about.
When I throw those kind of numbers out to you, I mean, the word on the street was that you wanted $9 billion.
Mm-hmm.
This values the WWE at 9.3.
Right.
So despite everything that's happened,
I'm a visionary.
well, you hit the number.
No. Yes, deservedly so.
But here's what I would also say to you. We paid a fair price, and I'll tell you why. We paid a little bit for control premium. With our cost cuts, their new deals coming up, which is right now, and our cost savings that we think we can extract from the business right now and grow the business with all of our levers, whether it be international sales, domestic, sponsorship, gambling, all the things that we do. I think it's right. I would also say to you is, when I bought IMG, everybody said I overpaid. It was actually one of the cheapest deals in sports. For sure, when I bought the UFC, everybody was like at 4.2 billion. They were like crazy. We've tripled the EBITDA in that period of time. And now with this is going to be UFC 2.0 as it relates to all the things in the flywheel that we can bring to them. And we have unbelievably attractive economics. The balance sheet's incredible. Our debt ratio is less than 3 times. Our free cash flow conversion is unbelievable. So I think when people look at this business on a combined basis and also look at the remaining assets for both shareholders, it's incredible.
Are you still as committed to deleveraging as you've told Wall Street that you are? You said at a conference about a month ago.
Yeah, it sounds like some bullshit. Now maybe he knows something I don't, but it's like they saying he overpaid. He's saying he didn't, and I don't know. 6.4. He paid 9.3. Vince was looking for 9 billion, and he got 9.3. I know Vince happy because it look like he got an extra $3 million. I mean, 300 million. So I mean, shit. I be doing a victory dance right now. I asked for 9 billion. Oh, you give me an extra 300 million on top of that? Shoot, I'll be doing a victory dance too. So, but now I could see that maybe they can get a deal out of NBC, who is the owner of USA, uh, where WWE Network is with USA, and USA is owned by NBC. So maybe he see if he can get some of that NBC money. So I don't know. Maybe he pay a little more to Vince, but then he gets a little more back with NBC because they like, hey, we running it, and NBC says, okay, so it's not just Vince, because let's just be honest, when Vince was running it, let's just say the ratings was not where they needed to be. It was like, and then when Triple H was running it, the ratings went up for Raw. The ratings also went up for SmackDown. And you could contribute it to the whole storyline with the bloodline, the whole thing with Sammy, the whole thing with the Judgment Day with Edge and Beth Phoenix, and then Dominic and Ray. I mean, it was just very engaging television. So, but that was when Triple H was at the helm, and they probably seeing that, okay, NBC's like, oh, the ratings going up. Okay, well, they said, oh shit, Vince is running. Oh, wait, Vince ain't running it. It's gonna be this guy running it. Now now it appears that Vince gonna be running it, but it's really this guy's gonna be checking him in case he go too far. And you'll find out later how they're going to figure that stuff out. If Vince say something, want to do something, he don't. We'll see. But to the TV views, they see that, wait, to the TV execs, they're gonna be looking at, wait a minute, Vince ain't gonna be the one running it like that. It's gonna be this guy. They may sweeten the pot on the deal, and might give it more money. Maybe they might cut that third hour because Jesus Christ. I don't know about y'all, but that 3 hours is long. And especially if you have a bad show, whoo, it's long. And maybe they might can push to get that third hour out of there and maybe put that third hour, make that third hour for SmackDown. I move that to an hour for SmackDown, maybe. Who knows? We can see. It's interesting.
To go. We've taken the company from 8 times levered to 4 times.
Below
I'd
4
sleep
times.
a lot more if we got it lower. You still committed to that?
Well, right now in the new company, we will be at, I want to make sure I said it, below 3. And at Endeavor, we'll be below 3 also times.
All right. So I had to actually go look this up because I didn't know what deleveraging is. Basically, deleverage is you paying off all your debts. Like you lowering your debts. Usually, they do that by selling off assets. So, so basically, it's like how do I put this? Like you got credit card debt, right? So you pay off your credit card debt. That is deleveraging. So that's basically what that is. Yeah, I had to go look that up because I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? You know. So so they're gonna get it 3.3. I don't know what I'm assuming that's a number billion or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But usually they talking about the trying to sell off assets. The other way to clear out debt is to get rid of some folks. And so I would not be surprised if a lot of people are going to get cut within the next, before SummerSlam, probably after this draft. Yeah, a lot of people might be gone, you know, if they're not leaving already because Vince is back. Because yeah, some people were not getting pushed, and some of the storylines were just god awful. And yeah, so with that and all that going on, yeah, I can see people wanting to get. Yeah, he gonna lower a lot of the debts that WWE might have right now by people getting the fuck out of here and some people getting fired. But we'll see. Again, we'll see.
So I think we're doing our job there.
Why didn't Wall Street see this coming? I read analyst notes which said Deutsche Bank, we believe a WWE acquisition's off the table at this point. They thought maybe you were going to go in a different direction. What did Wall Street miss?
Everything. You know, listen, I don't think people realize, one, that Vince saw what we built with the UFC. He knows what he wants to do with the WWE and take it to the next level. We had long conversations about it. We think this is right for both groups. I think they just missed the value proposition and the flywheel effect on both of the companies.
What happens if you guys disagree? Executive Chairman McMahon says, I think we should be doing this. CEO Emmanuel says, no, I think we should be doing this, and this is my show. What happens?
Well, what happens there is we have a little contest in the ring.
Some people are going to say he's not joking.
All right. Okay. I outweigh Ari by 100 pounds. So I think that's the answer.
But seriously, what happens if you guys disagree?
Here's what we said, right? And I said it to him. If we disagree on something that we want to do, guess what? We're not doing it. It's the relationship I have with Silver Lake. I would never put that, and it's the relationship I have with Dana. Dana's got the say as it relates to the UFC. Vince, as it relates to the WWE, he's going to have that. He's going to have the say. We have nothing to do with the creative process. That's Vince's and that's Dana's situation. All the back stuff, we're going to try and do what we do. I think that's what he wants. But if there's a disagreement, that's called a relationship. We will work it out, and that's how we have it.
Let me make it clear. I thought you worked for me.
On the creative side, Vince, do you plan to be as involved as you have in the past on the creative side?
Yes and no. On a higher level, yes. And the weeds, which I always love to get in the weeds in the past, no, can't do that.
What happens if Vince says, you know what, Mr. McMahon, character,
Mr.
decides he wants to get back into the ring?
Yeah. This man like, no, no, buddy, I ain't getting back in that ring. Got me fucked up. I got $9.3 billion. I ain't trying to get back in that ring. Which I don't blame him. He just got paid $9.3 billion. I'm still getting paid to run WWE, what I've been was doing for a while. And I can't get fired without getting paid? No, sir. I went in, I'm like, no, sir. Nope. I ain't getting back in that.
You let him?
His choice.
Purely his choice.
Purely.
That's not going to happen.
Famous
Okay.
last
All right.
words.
Okay. All right.
Famous last words.
77.
I know we're coming, towards the end of our time, but the TV rights.
Yeah.
Where are we in the stage of renegotiating that, given where the economy is, given some of the concerns about the escalation in rights fees? How optimistic are you in renegotiating those fees?
Well, the rights fees are now coming up. Here's what I would say to you is,
have you started the talks yet?
No, they have not started the talks yet. Here's what I would say to you is, the number one show in cable is Raw, 1.8 million viewers, up 9% from the same period of time, 2022 to 2023. Even though everybody says cable's dying, Raw is up. SmackDown, I think it's 2.3 million viewers, up 7%, same period. And the unbelievable thing is the 18 to 49 demographic is the best in the business. And the rate card is way below market by a significant amount. So when you think about those things, and in my opinion, and Vince and I talk about this, content's king. There's linear players, there's cable players, there's the SVOD players. Everybody wants the young demographic, the social. I mean, we're across the board, male, female, young, old, both assets. I think they're going to get a proper price.
And the idea here is there's nothing like the two combined. It's live. That's really the key, because our events are live. People want to watch live.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we are a success and continue to be a success and can fit in every medium, can fit everywhere. And in terms of social media and everything else, we fit everywhere.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you specifically about how you think about your legacy, given.
Yeah, because they, with Cena, Rock, who's in movies, he's killing it, and I'm willing to bet Roman Reigns is going to go in the movies. I mean, he's already been in a movie with The Rock and Hobbs and Shaw, and I'm pretty sure, with how he's really killing it in his role as a tribal chief, I can see him going into Hollywood. I mean, he got the look. I mean, and he got the connection with The Rock. I mean, pretty much, shit, he got it. It's no question. So, and they get in the movies. They going. Vince has been trying to get into the movie scene some of those movies have been, yeah, you know. So we can see, I can see that going, see that happening. So, I mean, you got so many different, you got new stars around now. I mean, you still got Cena. Now you got Roman Reigns. Um, Seth Rollins can get into fashion. I mean, his fashion sense is it is what it is. I'll put it that way. You know, and of course the women can get into all these different fashion stuff and all that different stuff. So yeah, I mean, I can see that happening, and and I guess Endeavor's going to push that more, but we'll see. Let's see him talking about legacy.
And where you took this company, what's happened in the last year, the regrets you may have as a result of all that, and how you think your legacy will and your story will be told.
Well, let me just say that I've made mistakes, obviously, both personally and professionally through my 50-year career. I've owned up to every single one of them and then moved on. I'm not sure the legacy stuff. I'm not going to write it. So I don't know. I want to say it's someone who had an extraordinary amount of fun, great passion for what they did, and wound up doing the biggest deal he's ever done in his life.
You say you're not going to write your legacy, but you did make that deal that you get a multi-million-dollar payout if the company gets sold and you control your IP. So in a sense, you are going to write your legacy.
How about that? I just did. You wrote it for me.
What about that deal? People thought that was rather peculiar.
Which deal?
About getting the payout if the company gets sold, and then also owning the rights to your intellectual property so that you can tell your story if you want to.
It is what it is.
But let me just say my opinion.
That's a good response. It is what it is. I mean, just think about this. If this company gets sold again, he still get paid. And again, they can't get rid of him. They can't get rid of him. They can't they can't do nothing with him. Like I said, sorry, somebody text me again. I mean, he's in a good. He gets $9.3 billion to do what he was doing. If they gonna get rid of him, the company gets sold again. They sell it. He still get paid. I mean, it's like you said, the biggest deal he's ever made. $9.3 billion. That's more than he have made in his lifetime. I mean, that's the legacy right there. It's like I bought this company from my father, and I made through all the trials and tribulations. People thought I was gone from the company, and now I come back, $9.3 billion. I own my own rights, so nobody can tell my story but me. Um, I own my intellectual property, which a lot of people didn't get to do. A lot of wrestlers didn't get to own their property. Hell, Cody Rhodes, um, when he left the WWE, he couldn't be called Cody Rhodes, even though his father is Dusty Rhodes. He can only be called Cody. Think about that. How effed up is that You can't even keep your last name that's been in your family for years. You couldn't even leave and keep your the last name that your father made famous, Rhodes. But yeah, Vince McMahon able to keep his intellectual property. So nobody can use Vince McMahon's name. He keeps his name. And if they try to fire him or they sell the company, he gets paid. So
Because we talked about this, I think that's fair. It is his legacy. He's the one, we're coming together. He's the one that should control his legacy. It shouldn't be controlled by somebody else. And that's actually fair. A legacy, he's built 50 years. It shouldn't be held by anybody else. It should be held by him. That's the right thing to do.
When do we get a name for the new company?
We're working on it now, actually.
Very soon.
Very soon.
And when do you expect it to go public, as you say, on the New York Stock Exchange?
Hopefully in the next 4 to 6 months. So depending on the government.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Appreciate it very much.
It's good.
so the, so yeah. Now that's what you call a power move. So let's review this. He took a company that he grew, and through all the trials and tribulations, the steroid trials, the deletion of Chris Benoit, of himself and his family, the, the that whole debacle that nearly destroyed the wrestling business, not just WWE, but the wrestling business as a whole. And you can make the argument that the wrestling business still haven't fully recovered from the actions of Chris Benoit and the aftermath of all that with the steroids and all that. Then you have the whole thing with CM Punk, his suing because they weren't giving him proper medical treatment. And then you had the whole scandal with the Me Too cases and him buying off women that he was touching. And he went through all that. Now he got $9.3 billion, which is the biggest deal he's ever had, made the biggest money he's never had. He's officially a billionaire, still controls the company. And even if they want to get rid of him, they still got to pay him. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is a move that people do. People with power. I mean, it's no different than Dr. Dre. I mean, his was a billion. And now, his family is set for life. His grandchildren are set for life. Because guess what? When he passes away, I mean, 9.3 billion split between what? He's got only two children, Stephanie and Shane. So that's like, how much is that? 9.3. Divide that by 2, 4, 8. Point, just 4.67 billion between the two of them. You split it depending how his will is set up. I don't know all that. We'll find out when he passed away, but he continues to get paid. Again, let's Are the people who, whatever job that you're in, somebody you have a company, you're passionate about what you're doing. Company comes in, buys your company, keeps you in charge, pay you more than you ever did made at this company, and if they try to fire you without good cause, they gotta pay you. That's some power right there. I don't know what to tell you. Something that black men should be striving to be if you're gonna build a company or you're doing something that people really need. That's high value. You want to talk about high value man? Vince McMahon is a high value man. He just got paid 9.3 billion and continues to get paid to do what he was doing. That's high value to me. I don't know. I don't all this other talk of high value. Listen, somebody values you and they pay you highly for it. You get paid $9.3 billion, more than what you asked for, even more than what the market share was setting up. I think that's a high value man. That's a high value man to me. I don't know what to tell you. That's what. And listen, y'all may not make $1 billion, but just the fact that people are willing to pay you and keep you at your same job, that's what you need to be striving for as far as being a high value man. Not, oh, women love you and all that shit. That's immaterial. What are people willing to pay you for what you do in life? How much people willing to give you these deals so that you continuously making money and that you have wealth for your children, grandchildren for however long? That's what black men need to be striving for. All this other talk, trying to get the women in line, um, trying to just parity to talk for you. No, 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 no. You need to be striving to get wealth and power where you're making money hand and foot. Then you can talk about getting these politicians to work in your favor. Because you don't need no white chick going to be talking for you, especially a bumbling idiot who came and spew out your talking points. Or even black women. Because again, black women have their own thing, right? You need to be having your own thing so you can speak for yourself and you have some power and influence. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what black men need to strive for. A position that Vince McMahon has is something that black men need to strive for. But you're not gonna get that worrying about what these chicks do. You're not gonna get that chasing behind some ugly ass white chick who may be a transformer. You're not gonna get that screaming and yelling at women on panels. Yeah. The only way you're gonna get that is to build your own company or work and be a high value person to that company so that it will they want to pay you to stay, and then you use that to get some influence over politicians. Then you hook up with other black men who are in the same with the same mindset. So now you can take on these go buy these communities and you run it the way you want to run it. That's what it is. All this other stuff, trying to get yelling and screaming at women, banging them, That's not power. What happened with Vince? That's some power moves. Black men need to be worrying about getting to that. That other stuff, mm-mm. Because like I show you, well, I'm gonna show you with the next live stream. When you don't have no power, these people can do whatever they want to you. These people can tell you how to raise your children, what type of treatment that you should be doing for your children. You need to get to Vince McMahon's position. Not making that money, but just in that position. So shit like what happened in the next live stream that I'm about to talk about don't happen to you. Don't happen to your children. And with that, I'm gonna get up out of here, and I will see y'all probably in an hour and a half. Black man, be powerful or be powerless. The choice is yours. Y'all have a good one. Peace.